Here now with Ben Allen. He is the CEO of BinSentry to talk about new technology that they have brought to market to help take care of one specific issue and then others that fall in line. Ben, thanks for taking the time. What is the problem that the market faces right now that you guys are already starting to take care of?
The primary problem is the inventory at feed mills and food mills and manufacturers of different products that use bulk commodities. The inventory is still taken by humans that are climbing ladders and either dropping weighted lines or shooting a laser pointer into a dark hole. It's just not the way we should be doing things in 2025.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Can you talk about the cost associated as well? I guess labor, time to merge, and so forth.
Yeah, that's right. So, when you don't have great inventory information at your inventory sites, you're chasing people up and down ladders. There's the associated safety risk with that, of course. I mean, these are tall facilities, and we hurt people every once in a while. But there's also the demurrage of trucks and trains that are backed up because you weren't exactly right. There's being shoved into the spot market for purchasing when you run out of a commodity with no notice. And then there's the shutdowns in the mills, which runs into thousands of dollars per hour, depending on how big the mill is.
All right, and here comes ProSense HD. Once again, I said ProSense HD. It is the answer. Tell everybody exactly what it is, Ben.
Well, instead of running people up and down ladders to check inventory, we put a time of flight camera, a high end camera, into the top of these facilities. It's powered on, we're checking inventory constantly, and then we're showing a graphical representation or an animation of that inventory in our software so that your operators can now go to any device, check what the inventory levels are, see it in real time, and operate in real time with accurate data.
All right, that's the standpoint of what it is. Can you talk about how it actually works and how it's addressing each of those situations that we were talking about? Time, labor, demerge, and so forth again.
That's right. So we generally don't want humans driving up these ladders or climbing up these ladders to look in these dark holes and guess what the inventory is. Let's stop that altogether. Not just in bad weather, in all weather. We need to save that labor for more important tasks and get it off the ladders checking inventory. We also, with more inventory planning, we just don't have near the demurrage problems. We know exactly how much space we have to fill or exactly how much goods we have to ship out. So we're much better at planning our trains and our trucks. And when it comes to the outages, well, when you know exactly what's in your storage bins, you just don't have the same outages. So you don't end up on the spot market for purchasing and you don't shut the mill down when you're trying to change over.
Can you talk about the technology, the specific technology, how the sensors work?
That's right. So we take a high powered LED and we pulse it into the interior of the bin. And then a time of flight camera captures every single photon of light that bounces off of the inventory and comes back up. And then we have patented artificial intelligence algorithms that filter out the dust particles because they're moving. We can see them in real time and animates the surface of that inventory. So we get a very accurate reading of what's in that bin in real time. And then we transfer that data into cloud software so that you can use it and see the software from any device that you've got.
Well, you guys already have success. People using the product are seeing that success. Can you describe what kind of ROI is coming back right now using ProSense HD?
Yeah, we're seeing ROIs that are quickly 2 or 3x. And then as you get better with using the inventory analysis, are getting closer to 4 and 5x. This gear pays for itself right off the bat. And because the service model is that it is a service for monitoring, it's lifetime warranty on all the hardware.
It is fascinating when you see this. What kind of things are you starting to hear right now from people who are using it?
Well, we're hearing, for instance, that why has it taken this long to get to this point? Why are we still chasing guys up ladders to try and track down inventory? But it's a very unique technical problem to be able to see into these dusty environments and give accurate data. So it's taken us longer than we would have wished to solve it, but we have solved it. And people just, they've got better uses for their talent than to be chasing inventories. They appreciate the safety improvement, but they also just like running a smoother operation. Our customers run at scale with big volumes and they run on thin margins. So every penny counts.
Can you talk about how people can find more about ProSense HD and what BinSentry is doing?
The best thing to do is just go to the website, www.binsentry.com.
All right, we appreciate the time, Ben. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vic.
And don't just take Ben's word for it. Listen here to how some of the early adopters of the product are using it and the success that it's having.
We have significant shrink, and today we don't have any great way to really root cause what that actually is. We know it, we report it, next month we'll readjust it, and we'll just keep rolling, right? I think the other thing, the other problem that causes is around the demurrage and extra charges around shipping. Between our 9 mills, I would say it's an every other day occurrence where we have a truck going in on any specific ingredient and a mill runs out of it down the road. So we unload half the truck there, we pay to send that other half of the truck to the other mill. Those costs just keep adding up.
When we're measuring bins now, it's looking down in them, trying to get the sunlight to go away, putting the lid over your head and trying to look down in there. You got different people on a shift measuring, they're measuring different or they're counting different rings. We do our month-end comparison and write-offs and that. So many times we've just had the wrong numbers, right?
We do an inventory twice a day, physically, and so that's a huge time constraint for us.
There's only really one person, that's the guy climbing the bin, that knows what's in that bin. So there's a lot, to me, there's a lot of noise in our business, just in emails and Excel spreadsheets back and forth between our finance department, between our planners, customer service, all the mills, and everybody trying to consume that.
I've done it pretty much my whole career. One week you send in orders to purchasing for the next week, and you guess I need a load this day, a load that day, a load this day. We can get rid of all that, right? Because purchasing can have that visibility. They know what fits, and feed mill managers are protective of their bins and their bin space and what'll fit. And it kind of takes it out of their hands a little bit. So if there is that little bin somewhere that has room, or put a new commodity in one of those bins, or they're using too big of a bin, that we could switch things around. Somebody that's maybe a little more objective can be looking at those things and look for improvements.
When you have your inventory from your customer side and you have your inventory in the mill side, you're completing the whole circle, and you can manage your bins better. You don't need 200 tons of soybean on site when you only need 120 in a day, so you can reduce your inventory and manage it better. And then I see it as a visibility to the whole operational team.
Functionality-wise, the three-dimensional view is priceless versus just, the assumption being on a couple 100-ton bin that it's a flat line of ingredients. Come on, we all know that's not true. So it's always, in pretty much any other monitors that I've seen, it's always still going to be a bit of a guesstimate.
There's other ones out there, and even with cameras that maybe give us a total, but that 3D image, it's important in feed bins, but even more important in ingredient bins, because we all know of hang-ups. And that's our slide management, right? The ingredients are hung up in the bin and nothing's coming out, and people get hurt banging on bins or poking holes in bins to get them freed. So that's a huge part of this that I'm most excited about.
It's the accuracy of the data coming in, and it's the time you're going to save by sending your employees out to check these bins twice a day for us. So that's our ROI.
Very excited about on-demand inventory that we can trust to be accurate. Really, I think that could be process changing in our mill.